We are live. What's up, everyone? Great to see you. The market is pumping. I'm sure everybody is feeling that much better today, seeing all this green. So much news to go over. I'm so happy you're with me. So let's check in with the audience really quickly, see how everyone's doing. Ariana's here. Great to see you. Machine Gun Boy, nice to see you. What's up, John? I thought I would get a good start to my day. Ariana, how are you today, my dear? Robert, good to see you, my man. How's it going? How's it going? Am I connected to everything? Everything good? Let me see here. Let's pull this up. I'm new here. What's up, Andre? Great to see you. That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for people to jump in here. Peter Pan, what's up, dude? Thank you. I appreciate you. Christopher, nice to see you, Christopher. What a great day it's been in the crypto space. Hope everyone's doing well. Great to have you, Chris. Brian's here. What's up, dude? We got Jerry here from Germany. Great to see you, Jerry. Thank you for being here. We got Tim here saying howdy. Howdy, Tim. Free speech. Hey, I'm glad you're here, man. Thank you for being here. Mason, great to see you. Curtis is here. Curtis is here to keep the chat safe. Great to see you, Curtis. We got Watt here. Great to see you. Barry's here. We got Carrie King is here. We got Game of Cats here. Thank you for so much for being a member of the channel, Game of Cats. I think everyone should hold until the ETFs approve. We'll see what happens. We'll cover all of that stuff here. Deleted's here. Tinker's here. Man, we got people from all over the world here. Great to see you. Joe Garden X is here. Oh, man. Val is here. Great to see you, Val. I'm the first to say your name correctly. Well, hey, that's got to be worth something, right? No, I'm glad, man. Great to have you here. We got people here from Australia. Oh, I see. I love streaming at this time. You get people from all over the world, which is really cool. James Russell's from Ireland. My mom is actually on the way to Ireland right now for a family reunion. Great to have you here, James. Thank you so much for being here. We got Jess here. Jess from Georgia. Great to see you, Jess. We got Saul here. Oh man, I could spend an hour and a half just saying everybody's name and where you're from. It's great to see you guys. I'm so happy you're with me. If I didn't say your name, I do apologize, but I'm so happy you're with me. Listen, do me a favor here. You can help me get in front of more people if you hit like on the video. If you're here on YouTube, you can hit like. If you're on X, think about resharing the space out. I'd really, really appreciate that. Ariana and Curtis are the mods and LEX in the chat here. Make sure that, you know, if they're telling you to like chill out or calm down, please be respectful of them because they have they can put you on timeout or something, you know, if you step out of line. So make sure to be courteous to them in the chat. But let's go ahead and just take a look at these charts, man. Woo! Oh, this feels good here. Let me just make myself a little bit smaller here so we can all see what's going on here. Let me zoom in here. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be as I'm aging here. Bitcoin to $2.3 trillion market cap. Look at this market cap. Ethereum is at 2,900, is up 18%. XRP is up 23% in the last 7 days. It is a beautiful thing to see XRP at $2.74. BNB is up. I don't really care about too much about BNB. Solana is up. It looks like Dogecoin's up too. Tron is up. Cardano is up 26%. That's strong. Hyperliquid is about to go into the top freaking 10. That is insane. They still got to chase Cardano here. Sui at 342. Man, how many different times have we talked about Sui? If you haven't been picking up Sui on these dips, guys, I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to show you here. XLM is at up to 54%. XLM is at 36 cents right now, guys. That is insane. Chainlink's up. Avalanche is up. The whole market is up. It is great to see it. It is fantastic. Crypto Erie did share this here. She says top percent gainer, top 100 by market cap in the last hour. XRP. Love to see XRP. Bitcoin has actually reached the fifth. You have gold, Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, and then Bitcoin. I'm really looking forward to seeing XRP on this chart sometime soon as tokenization of assets come onto the ledger. It'd be really cool to see XRP overtake Bitcoin or anything else on this list. I would really, really love to see that. It does look like there's a big week ahead in crypto here. It does look like the crypto this week in the House. Genius heads to the president's desk. Clarity moves to the Senate. Time to make America the crypto capital of the world. Did the House vote on, hold on one second, Perplexity. Did the House already pass the Genius? I must have missed that if they did. Let me see here. The Genius Act. As of now, the House has not held a final vote on the Genius Act. So this is a little bit premature. This was a little bit premature saying that the Genius heads to the president's desk. It hasn't even been past the House yet. So all good though. CoinDesk maybe is just excited about what this next week could bring for the crypto space. So great to see that. It does look like Bank of America research report shows Bitcoin as the best performing currency this year. Out of everything else that they're tracking here, Swedish krona, Swiss franc, euro. Weird to kind of compare Bitcoin versus other currencies, but I guess that's what they're doing in this example. You have assets here, you have equities, sectors, fixed income, FX versus USD, and then commodities. And so great to see Bitcoin out there in first on this chart. Also, guys, we knew July was going to be good, right? We did this in late June. We looked at the history and where July usually is for the crypto bull markets, and we knew Bitcoin usually has a really good July. And so we knew that the market was going to be in for some really big green candles, and we are seeing that. Here's just the Bitcoin returns over the last 15 years. As you can see, some of these numbers are just insane. And this is what a lot of people are waking up to, right? They're looking at these returns and saying, hey, maybe I wasn't here to catch Bitcoin in the early days. Maybe, I could have been, but I was doing something else. All good, right? I too wasn't here in the early days of all of this. And so what we're trying to figure out now is, hey, I want a piece of this. How can I grab a piece of the financial future, right? Of the financial system's future. And that's why a lot of people are so heavy into these different types of ISO tokens. I did want to talk about a ton of stuff that's happening here. I thought this was a really, really cool clip. I don't usually like to play like 4-minute plus clips on these streams, but I want to play this clip and I want to talk about it. So let me just play this. We'll talk about it, and then I will come to the chat after this clip and I will answer some of your questions. Okay, let's play.
Look, I've talked to the guys at Black Swan Capitalists. They're brilliant guys. They're two brothers. You should interview them. They're really brilliant. They've done the homework on this. You can plug your nose and go long Bitcoin because it's become a politicized asset. I've been trying to figure out Bitcoin for years. We need another longer hour on this one. For a while, I didn't know how to connect the dots, but Bitcoin is the new oil. There's a direct attempt to inflate Bitcoin so that we can literally take the winnings of that asset inflation and use it to pay down debt like El Salvador. But what I do know is with the Lummis bill, because I couldn't figure out why would the president want to have an anti-dollar, anti-fiat strategic reserve asset? Why would Trump, who hated this thing 3 years ago, like it now? Why would Larry Fink, who called it a scam 3 years ago, have a $50 billion ETF in Bitcoin? It's all making sense now. They're looking for a new source of dollar demand. And if you can make the Bitcoin exchange, which the Bitcoin US dollar is the most liquid pair. So if you can make under the Lummis bill, the only way to buy Bitcoin is through US dollars, US stablecoin, that creates demand for Bitcoin and it creates demand for the US dollar.
I've pulled up all the information on this bill too. I'm going to talk to you about this after and give you some updates, because when I heard this, it was kind of I was hearing something for the first time in this and I wanted to research it, and so I got that research after.
If you can make those Bitcoin exchanges or crypto exchanges required to hold a certain percentage of US treasuries in reserve, that creates demand for unloved US treasuries. And if you can link Bitcoin to Tether, which is a US Treasury-backed stablecoin, which has more treasuries than Germany does, well, then by blowing up Bitcoin, creating a bubble in Bitcoin, you're creating a bubble, you're creating demand for US treasuries. Now I see why. And that's the great irony. If the Lummis bill passes, they're using Bitcoin, whose entire narrative, as Voorhees said, was to be decentralized, maverick, agovernmental, outside the banking system. The irony is it couldn't be more centralized, more part of the banking system, and less maverick, because now Bitcoin is being used like oil was in the 70s, artificially inflated to pay down US debt and create demand for US dollars. So Bitcoin, the anti-dollar fiat, anti-new fiat, the anti-fiat, anti-dollar maverick crypto is actually being used to help save the US dollar and the US Treasury. Not because it's going to be a new source of money in the US, a new medium of exchange, a new store of value. It's absolutely being co-opted. And you could argue that it was even invented to do that. Who knows? That's a much longer conversation. That's what the guys of the Black Swan Capitalists have looked into brilliantly. They understand crypto and gold brilliantly. They've done the homework. They've looked under the hood of all the IMF reports, all of what Tether has done, all of what Ripple and XRP's protocols have done. I can take hours on it. It's fascinating. But the bottom line is we're creating an artificial bubble and an artificial asset and calling it Bitcoin and calling it Maverick and decentralized. It's not. It's not at all.
Is this going to somehow expedite the development or introduction of a CBDC?
Absolutely, because the XRP technology, the digital ledger technology, they call it the ISO compliant 200.222 blockchain compatibility protocol, which makes everything interoperable, which allows the tokenization of everything from meme coins to smart contracts to intrabank transfers, is all part of that technology created by Ripple in 2001.
Yes.
And when the IMF came out in 2020 with this central bank digital currency, it's all going to be using that technology. So you lose your privacy and your rights. But even the IMF said in 2020, when the central bank digital currency, which is all warm and fuzzy and they ignore all the negatives, that does have a gold component at the very bottom of its chart. The whole thing is still going to be based and backed by a hard asset, gold, not Bitcoin. They're just using the DLT technology, the blockchain technology. By that point, Bitcoin won't be the belle of the ball. It'll just be an asset bubble. But you can plug your nose and go long Bitcoin, especially if this Lummis bill passes. Hell yeah, it's a fat pitch. It's an easy trade. If that Lummis bill passes, Bitcoin really will make a lot of money. We'll see. But it's not the narrative. The narrative is dishonest. It still can be a highly speculation asset, but it is not a store of value. It is not a mean of exchange. It is not a unit of account. It is an intentionally created asset bubble to create demand, ironically, for the very dollar it's supposed to be an anti-dollar asset solution to.
All right. I wanted to take a look at this Lummis bill here just to give you some context, because I hadn't heard too much about this recently. So Bitcoin Act of 2024 establishes a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Government Bitcoin purchase. The government would purchase up to 1 million Bitcoins. I feel like we are losing time to do this though, right? Like if you would have bought 1 million Bitcoin, 6 months ago, it would have probably been billions of dollars cheaper than trying to buy it today. And they don't even have this money lined up. So what are they going to buy this at the top? I mean, this is kind of, where timing plays a role into this. Funding mechanism purchases would be funded by diversifying existing resources within the Federal Reserve and Treasury Department, including setting aside the first $6 billion in annual remittances from the Reserve Banks 2025 to 2029. Talks about transparency and management, self-custody rights, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I don't see where she's talking about, only using US dollars to buy Bitcoin. I think that would obviously only be in the United States as well. But they are trying to find new use cases for dollars, right? Because you are having this massive de-dollarization globally by the BRICS countries. And we've heard it from the Treasurer of the United States, Scott Bessent, that they need to find, new buyers for dollars, and stablecoin issuers are those buyers. All right, let me see what's going on here in the chat. What are we talking about? We're talking about July 14th. We're talking about ISO migration. Is that what we're talking about? FedWire, FedNow systems. That is coming. There goes our tax dollars. Well, I mean, it hasn't been done yet, but I mean, they've spent. I mean, we could get into a whole conversation about this, about where government tax dollars are being spent. I mean, moving stuff to blockchain, at least you'd have more accountability in where funding was going. But most of the stuff is like DOD, black box type of stuff, right? Billions and billions of dollars into some of these programs where you just don't know what's being spent on. Where do you think the resistance will be? I mean, hard to say. We just broke through some serious resistance, so we'll have to see. Obviously, some people are going to take profit, and then we're probably going to wait for the next leg up. But I think it's coming pretty soon. You think it'll go down to 230? Impossible to know, right? You'd have to have the market turn around, right? Like we could get some really bad news and Bitcoin starts to go back the other way and XRP follows. But you're going to need to, what is that bad news going to be? It could be new tariff announcements, right? That could affect the market. It could be, maybe the Genius Act or the Clarity Act doesn't get approved on the first vote. Like something like that could bring the market back down, but that's unlikely right now. It's really unlikely. So we'll have to see. What's up, Sveta? What's up, man? How's it going? I mean, where do you guys think? Ariana says resistance is around $3. What do you guys think? You think she's right? She probably is right. She's pretty good at charts. Steven says he's in Northern California listening to you every day. Steven, what part of Northern California? Like Humboldt? Right? Because like we used to say NorCal is kind of like the Bay Area, but the Bay Area is kind of like, center, or not really center, but You know, people would say that like that's the North, but it's not really the North, right? But hey, California, it's where I'm from. So let me know. I probably know where you are. 88888 says aloha. Aloha, what's up, Triple? We got people from Australia, man. I love seeing people from Australia. Love it. Thank you for being here. Let's see here. Saul says, is XRP will issue credit card? So Saul, there are companies that have issued credit cards that have to do with like XRP rewards and things like that. But XRP itself hasn't, like, the blockchain, you know, foundation hasn't gotten together to put together a credit card. Now, if Ripple becomes a bank, right? I keep speculating about this. Like, you know, will Ripple take, you know, will average people be able to open an account at Ripple? Do you need like 500 XRP or 1,000 XRP? That would be pretty cool, right? I don't know. Like, I'm just exaggerating here on what this could be. But Ripple could issue some type of credit card once they become a bank that has something to do with XRP. Absolutely. Do we have information on that right now? We do not. It's a beautiful day in Hawaii. Absolutely. Caleb, nice to talk with you, man. Glad you're here. It's so funny that people in Hawaii find the stream. I must be like, you know, you're like scanning locally on where the stream is. The ISO integration is happening next week. It is. But so what most people don't understand is you've already had ISO integration across the world. And so if you look at places like the European Union or the UK, you already have millions of payments per day using the new ISO standard. So it doesn't guarantee that crypto will be used right away, but it will be an availability. It will be an option finally. And I do think as more banks get comfortable with real-time settlement, that will be something that will be integrated heavily. Absolutely. Let's see here. LAX says, I'm not charting XRP at all. I'm here for the long run. Yeah, like, you know, that's the thing too, guys, right? There's different mindsets, right? There's some people that are like looking at $3, like, oh, I'm going to take profit. I'm going to get out. I'm going to go put money into whatever, right? And there's other people that have a long-term view of this. Like, I don't care about $3, $5, or $10. I think that this has a real shot at being 3 digits or 4 digits, and I'm going to be here for that, right? And I feel like LAX feels like I'm here for the whole kit and caboodle, as they say. Next target's $4. I'd love to see that, man. I'd love to see that. Let's see here. We got someone that says, I live on Oahu. I've been watching you for a while, my guy. Like, watching me, or you've been coming to the stream watching my content? Hopefully it's coming to the stream watching my content. I don't want to be like out walking my dog and like someone comes and runs up randomly. I'm just kidding. If you see me on the street, you can obviously say hi. Come up and say hello. East Bay. So born in San Mateo, right? Lived in Burlingame, Hillsborough, Cupertino, San Jose. I did recently, when I last moved back to Hawaii from California, I was living in a new home that we bought in Hayward, actually. And so East Bay. Yep. Castro Valley area, right in there, man. Why is Sui on and Solana dropping off? Are they dropping off? I mean, we got the chart up here, my man. I don't really think they're dropping off. I mean, Solana's only up 10% and Sui's up 20%. Oh, but you're talking about like right here, like just now. I mean, people are going to take profits, right? People are going to take profits. You got to have the long outlook on this type of stuff, especially Sui, man. Like, long outlook on Sui. Let's see here. What's up, Sensei and chat room? Excited about the XRP pump, hoping it dips to 265 to pick up some. Hey, man, I really hope so too. Dale Smith, great to see you, man. Welcome. Let's see here. Would you sell Cardano to buy XRP? I'd hold both, man. I'd hold both. I think that Cardano has a lot of good things going for them. You know, there was an interview by Charles Hodgkinson being interviewed by the Sean Ryan show. That interview was incredible. I mean, the intelligence level of Charles Hodgkinson is like beyond what I can comprehend. And usually you follow people that are that smart because they're going to change the world in some way. And Cardano has their new upgrades coming midnight, and they're going to bring millions of people into the Cardano ecosystem. I think both of those are really good options long term, in my personal opinion. But I'm not a financial advisor or anything like that, so please take that into consideration. Hello from London, Josh. Great to see you, man. We got somebody from Canada here, Strega. Great to see you here. Oh, we got a $5 here from Barkley. When we moon, I'm buying a condo in Waikiki, neighbor. Count it. Awesome, man. Let me know when. Let me know where. Invite me for the barbecue or something. You know, I'm really excited. It's Penny from Yorkshire, UK. Penelope, great to see you. Thank you for being here. CC, I saw an announcement. I don't think he's going to resign. Yeah, we'll fact check it. We'll fact check it right now. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the, oh, no, not that. Almost clicked on the wrong thing, my man. You're talking about this, right? You are talking about this. So there are some reports here that Jerome Powell might be considering resigning. So somebody asked if we could fact check this in real time. We're absolutely going to do that. So what we want to do here, guys, just to show you how to do this yourself, you're going to go ahead and save the image onto your, your desktop, whatever you want to do. We're going to open up Perplexity. We use Perplexity around here because this is just one of the best AIs that I've used. I use this dozens of times per day. We're going to load the image and then says, can you tell me if this is true? If it is true, can you give me all the context I need to better understand this? I got you. Here you go. The image shows a statement attributed to Will. Let me just make sure I'm sharing the right thing here. I am. Cool. The image shows a statement attributed to William Pulte, chairman of the board of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Okay. So you got to be careful with this, right? Because this is getting a little bit politicized. And so we got to worry about that as well when we're talking about this. So I'm not going to get into that, but this person, if you looked up who this person was, they might be doing some of the bidding of somebody else. Expressing encouragement at reports that Federal Jerome Powell might be considering resigning. The statement is very similar to wording, has widely been reported by major news outlets. The statement is authentic by Pulte. The claim that Jerome Powell is considering resigning based on unspecified reports referenced by Pulte and others. So the hard part about this is the recent clips that I've seen of Jerome Powell says that he's not interested in stepping down. You can have these people saying that he's thinking about it, but until you actually get it out of Jerome Powell himself, I would just consider this kind of hearsay. Now, the issue that I have with this, right, is if the bankers trust Jerome Powell, right? If Jerome Powell is replaced, he's probably going to be replaced with somebody that Trump would control. And, there needs to be a fine line in between what the Federal Reserve is doing and what the president wants, not just Trump himself, but any president, right? You need to have that fine line, because if it's up to a president, he's going to set policy what's best for his agenda. He's not going to set policy on what's best for America. So that is the two things that I would be watching. I did do a little bit more research on this, but I was going to talk to you about this here. Let me show you this. So I wanted to take a look at some information about what would happen. So I didn't want to talk about this till later, but Trump wants to drop rates to like 0% or 1%. That would really boost the economy in the short term, but it would also have some negative impact. So let's just talk about what that could be, okay? Because there is some good, but there's also some bad here. So if the Federal Reserve Chair were to quickly drop rates to 0 or 1% as Trump has advocated, the effects on the U.S. economy would be significant. So let's just talk about this. Cheaper borrowing. So it would lower rates for loans, for homes, cars, businesses. Everything would be more affordable, right? I could probably go out and get another lease. I have missed having a second car. But the reason I have it is because I'm not interested in paying, $400 or $500 additional per month in interest because rates are so high. This would also boost in asset prices. Lowering rates often drive up stock and other real estate prices as investors seek returns outside with lowering yield, savings, and bonds accounts. The wealth effect, higher asset prices can make households feel wealthier, encouraging more spending and potentially stimulating economic growth. There is inflation risks. I think we saw this, when we did this just a few years ago with the, cerveza sickness, the C19, rates were extremely low for too long. And then we got this really big boost in inflation, and that really did hurt a lot of people's pockets. So there would be higher inflation. Rapidly cutting rates could spur excessive demand and risk reigniting inflation, especially if the economy is already growing or if it simply the constraints persist, undermining purchasing power. If inflation outpaces wage growth, which it usually is, which it has been, consumer purchasing power could decline. The impact on savers and fixed income investors, I'm not really going to get into that too much. The federal debt and government finances would be a little bit better in the short term. The government could, refinance some of this debt, lower interest payments. The government would benefit from reduced interest costs on its massive national debt, freeing up fiscal resources and reducing deficits in the short term. Remember, the US is paying billions of dollars per day in interest. It's over $1 trillion per year right now. And so they could lower that down and then pay, maybe use that money for other things instead of interest. Potential or future liability: if rates rise again or inflation spikes, future interest payments could climb rapidly, increasing fiscal risk. Possibility of asset bubbles or financial instability: there could be a risk of a bubble. Prolonged near zero rates can inflate bubbles in housing stocks and other markets, as seen in the early 2000s and what Japan is experiencing right now. Financial imbalances: easy money may encourage excessive borrowing and risk taking, setting the stage for future corrections or crisis. And then, it could affect the global exchange rates, labor markets. I mean, there's so many things to think about here. So there is some pluses, but there also is the negatives that I think we're not having full enough conversation about. Barkley, I just want to thank you again for the $5. It all goes to Luna. We do, at the end of the month, we take out how much money was donated to the channel and we spoil our dog rotten. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Let me just group down here to the bottom here to see if there's any new comments. A friend made me swap XLM to Algo months ago. That's proving a wrong move. Ooh, yeah, that's tough, man. If you would have came and asked, if you would have asked my opinion on it, I probably would have said that's a tough move. Algo just had to go through like a whole, redefining who they are and what they're, what they are. They did a whole reboot. And I don't know, I think they're having a little bit of trouble getting the community back engaged with it. And so, yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow, man. I'm sorry that you did that. Can you explain your perspective on BitTensor Tau? So I don't do a ton of research on Tau. I probably wouldn't be the best person, but from what I understand is Tau is a marketplace for AI applications, a marketplace, and that is only going to get bigger. I don't know if I'd be buying Tau right now. It's probably going to do some pretty good numbers, but buying Tau a year or two ago, maybe where you bought it, it's probably, you're up a lot. Algo just had tethered decouple. Oh, see, I'm not researching that at all. See, that's a tough question. Should you swap back? So right now, everything just pumped pretty hard. Sometimes you get these big green candles followed by corrections. So, you need to I think you just need to just take a second, take a deep breath, think about if you did this, what the ramifications could be, right? What you're trying to achieve. It doesn't sound like a crazy idea, but I think you should just put a little bit of thought into it. Because if you keep bouncing back and forth, you might miss when Algo pumps, right? Or then XLM will pump. You just got to time it correctly. Let's see here. Caleb says, is there any crypto meetups or summits down here in Hawaii? There is an app here. It's like Meetup Hawaii or something like that, where they do some of this stuff. I think there's hold on, let me just here. Hold on. Let me pull something up here for you. I know that there are some people that meet up here. Let me see. Can I pull up a map here of Hawaii? All right, here we go. Oh, so this is not what I'm used to using. Hold on. No, I can't. Hold on. Let me see. Google Maps. That might be better. I'm looking at stuff from years ago. Hold on. Google Maps. Google Maps. Let me see here. Let's go. All right. Okay. So Kaka'ako, right? So there's a tavern. Hold on. So let me just see where I am here. So this is Ward. hold on, Ward. Where's Ala Moana at here? Ala Moana Beach Park, Ward Village, Foodland. Okay, I know where I am now. Whole Foods is here. Okay, cool. So if you go down Queen Street right here, right? Queen Street, there's like a bar right. Where's the bar at? It's like right on the street somewhere. Maybe it's here, right here. Aloha Beer Company. So this is where I do know some people meet for crypto meetups. I'd have to get some more information, but if you search Aloha Beer Company crypto meetup, you might actually find what you're looking for. Just wanted to give you that extra bit. Oh, snap. We got Strego with the $6.99. Thank you so much. Do you have a question or you just feel like donating? Because I really appreciate you. Thank you very, very much. Luna thanks you. She's napping right now, but she does thank you. Do you think 3,000 coins is enough to retire on? So, you're not the first person to ask this question, and I'll give you the same exact answer I give everybody else. Where you live and what your spending is like, might vary. So if you live in a country where it doesn't cost as much to pay for housing and food and clothing and all these things, you could probably go a lot further. Now, if you're talking about retiring, how old are you, right? How many more years do you have? Like there's all of these things that need to be considered. Eventually, I think XRP's price will go into the 3 digits and into the 4 digits. That's what I truly believe. I don't have a crystal ball, not a financial advisor, right? So this is what I believe on the research that I have done. When that happens, if you have XRP at $1,000 per token, 3,000 tokens, I think that's like $3 million. Now, if you put that $3 million into like US treasuries or something like that, and you got 3 or 4 or 5% a year, that could give you $100,000 or $100 and something $1,000 every year to live on. Now, is that enough money, right? Or do you need more? Like that's what you just need to consider. Like Thailand, yeah, is it a good example of making money go a lot further? Like I saw you could buy like a villa in Thailand for like $700,000. $700,000 in California or Hawaii doesn't get you very much, right? Especially in California. So if you lived in like LA, you're going to need a lot more money to retire on if you lived in some parts of like Thailand, for example. So, well done. Explain the bigger picture on irresponsible government policy. Thank you, James. Appreciate it. Always trying to find the balance. Everybody has, different opinions, but I'm just trying to bring facts to back up what we're talking about here. And I hope people, like that approach. Sensei, are you a gamer? So I used to be a game that I enjoy watching. So I don't play as much because I'm constantly doing this. But I really liked Apex Legends. I still watch like pros play Apex Legends, and I like watching some, Warzone clips. But I did play recently. I played Final Fantasy VII Remake. I got to play the part 2 of it, but I just haven't had too much time to play. My PlayStation's actually in this corner over here getting dust. It's like covered in dust. So I got to get back on though. All right, let's get back into the news then, guys. Let's do this. Let's get back in the news. I wanted to show you this. We expect Bitcoin to top out at 200K by the end of the year. Just to give you some information, Bitcoin is currently at 117,000. This would be an $83,000 change for Bitcoin to get to this 200K mark. I'm going to play this and I'll be right back. I'm going to grab some more water.
I think we're going substantially higher from here.
Bitcoin hitting new highs. Matt, walk us through what you think explains this. Is this correlation to tech stocks, Matt? Is it just continuing enthusiasm from crypto-friendly policies from the White House? What do you chalk it up to? What do you make of it?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I think both of those are part of the story, but the bigger piece is just massive, unrelenting demand meeting limited supply. We're seeing companies buying huge amounts of Bitcoin and ETFs purchasing huge amounts of Bitcoin, and there's just not that much Bitcoin to go around. I'll mention in the last 30 days, we've seen Bitcoin ETFs acquire $5.2 billion of Bitcoin. That represents institutional investors making a giant allocation to this space. We see that trend continuing. And with the limited supply of Bitcoin, it's just forcing the price up. I think we're detaching from $100,000, and I think we're going substantially higher from here.
When you say substantially higher, Matt, give me some bogeys to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I think once we break the gravity of around $100,000, where we've been trading in and out of for the last 6 months, I think it's sort of anyone's guess where we go. Here at Bitwise, we expect Bitcoin to top $200,000 by the end of the year, which I know sounds like a very large number, but the flows we're seeing from institutional investors and corporations are really significant. They're accelerating, not slowing down. And I think they're going to force that price substantially higher.
Listen, guys, a $200,000 Bitcoin, regardless if you're in Bitcoin or other crypto assets, that's going to be good for everybody. So, you know, I'm always rooting for the biggest price that Bitcoin can manage in this cycle. So I love Apex. Yeah, man. So like they have the world championship right now, right? Or like the EWC or whatever in Riyadh. I'm watching it. Like I was just watching, like I was like, I made 5 videos today already. And so I'm like putting videos together and researching, and I have it on in the background on my TV. So I know like, what is it? Effect in those guys at, oh God, what's the team? Anyways, I'm rooting for 100 Thieves, man. I want 100 Thieves to win. Yo, Sensei, thank you for the work you do. Do you think that XRP is going to hit $1,000 or $10,000 by 2030? I think there's a real possibility. I do. Obviously, $1,000 is easier to hit than 10,000, but I think if we even get to like the 4 digits, I think it could get silly. Like, you got to understand that people are underestimating how much money is about to move on chain, and like Ripple working to become a bank is a very big deal. And, you know, to have a Fed master account, to be able to have your reserves directly with the government, to be able to go into any meeting and say that, hey, we're a bank. The OCC, right, who basically does all the oversight for banks in America, just said that we are a reliable company. They gave us a banking license. I mean, who's going to say no to Ripple at that point, right? I just did a video today. You know what? Let me see. Did I bring some of that here? I could get into some of that if you want me to. So hold on. Let me show you this. Let me show you this. Let's see. I have it here somewhere. Okay, yeah, here. I have it here. So let me pull something. I'm going to play this video clip. It's like 50 seconds. They're talking about, you know, Ripple having a Fed master account, and I want to show you some of the benefits of what you know, having Ripple becoming a bank, what kind of benefits that could be. But I also want to show you why banks are going to choose to work with Ripple over doing their infrastructure themselves, right? I just spent like the last few days researching all this. So let me play this first while I dig up this other stuff.
Look, recently we've spoken about Hidden Road, the brokerage service coming in, and their use of the XRP ledger and the RLUSD token, the stable coin, as collateral, and that's just been confirmed by CEO Brad Garlinghouse recently. But then, out of the blue, Ripple decides they want to go for as a federal bank, getting a license to be a bank from the OCC, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, and then also possibly apply for a Fed master account. And I'm just like blown away. It is a massive move. So if it comes off, it hasn't come off yet, but if it does come off, well, you know, there's some serious value there. So
okay, so what value is he talking about? Check it out. I did all this for you guys, right? This is why you come here. Direct access. So the biggest advantages, the major advantages for Ripple becoming a bank and having a Fed master account are as follows. Direct access to the Federal Reserve payment system. This means that Ripple could settle transactions directly through the Fed Wire and the Fed ACH system, as well as Fed Now. Remember, Fed Wire processes 4.3 trillion a day. Through 4.3 trillion a day, bypassing intermediary banks. Okay, so right now, Ripple, so you have to understand, Ripple has the infrastructure to connect banks, current banks, to the old system, to the new system. And you need that interconnectivityness, right? Ripple, instead of going through like Temenos or Finastra or ACI or CGI, any of these big, software conglomerates, they could bypass all of that and be just directly interconnected into all of this. This means faster, more reliable payments, reduce counterparty risk. Also, let's talk about lowering the costs. Eliminating the need for third parties would cut transaction fees and operational overhead, making Ripple services more competitive for both enterprises and for consumers. You're also talking about regulatory legitimacy and trust, something that I was just talking about before I brought this up. Enhanced credibility. Becoming a federally licensed bank and holding a Fed master account would give Ripple a level of regulatory legitimacy that few other crypto firms possess, increasing trust among institutional clients and regulators. There's also compliance and readiness. It positions Ripple to comply with pending laws such as the Genius Act, which would require major stablecoins to operate under strict federal oversight, key for RLUSD long-term adoption. Ripple understands that this could benefit them dramatically in the U.S. banking system if they're able to, get this approved. Improve integration with RLUSD and XRP, seamless on and off ramps. Ripple could directly issue and redeem RLUSD, manage reserves at the Fed, and facilitate instant conversion between RLUSD, XRP, and fiat. And remember, anything of value on the XRP ledger could be traded for anything else of value. So when you have tokenized stocks, you have derivatives, you have real estate, you have debt, you have cryptocurrencies, you have fiat currencies. You could basically change anything for anything at any time. Broader adoption, right? With Fed direct access, RLUSD and XRP could be used by more banks and payment providers for cross-border settlements, liquidity, treasury operations, making them a part of mainstream financial flows. And it talks about operational efficiency, faster cross-border payments, enterprise-grade solutions, competitive edges. I mean, I could go on for a while here, but I think you see the benefits that could come from this. Now, I've also seen a lot of people saying that Ripple might have their banking license approved. Here, let me just show you this. Hold on. Let me see. Like if I search Ripple and XRP here, you're going to see a bunch of people trying to, let me pull this up. Here you go. So let's just see if we can find it. So here you go. This person's posting Ripple's becoming a bank, right? Filed with the OCC. So here's their application. So this is legitimate. I've verified all this. But you also have people saying that Ripple could become like, would be, let's see here, like this. This is bullshit, okay? Multiple sources report Ripple's U.S. national banking license set for approval today. This is a lie. And everybody is resharing this lie, okay? If you've researched this topic, you know that banks never get instant approval. And actually, banks that want Fed master accounts need additional layers of approval. They also need public commenting, multiple sessions of public comments to become a bank. And we're not even close to any of that. So you just need to chill, like make sure who you're following online is really important. And people are going to say and do anything for clicks. You obviously want to verify anything anyone is saying, even me. Verify, trust, verify. I get dominated in Apex regularly, man. Yeah, see, I don't play too much, man. I used to like playing ranked, man. I used to love the grind of ranked play. James Russell with the €5, man. Thank you so much, James. I really appreciate you, brother. James Russell from Ireland, right? If I remember correctly. Thank you, James. Luna is a lucky girl. She is. I'm really excited. Love to Luna. You guys want to see Luna? Hold on. Oh, hold on. Let me grab her. Come here. Oh, come here. I need you. Oh, there she is. Come here. Is that in the way? Hello? Are you okay? You want to say hi? You want to say hi to everybody? There you go. I'm Luna. I got a good life. All right, kiddo. Here. Go lay down. Luna does thank you. We're thinking about getting a second dog too. So Kate's here. Great to see you, Kate. What's up? What's your thoughts on XLM? I mean, I know I talk a lot about XRP. Obviously, I own XLM. I wanted to do good. I don't love some of like the shots that Stellar takes at Ripple, but it is the crypto industry and people want to be seen. So I think the technology is great. Danelle Dixon's incredibly smart, and she's going to do big things for Stellar, man. Really big things. Man, if they get the banking license, it will be full send mode. I mean, you know, I think it's an inevitability at this point. I think it's going to happen, but like imagine Ripple getting their banking license approved while the SEC's case is still going on. I mean, like if you just start thinking about it, like, can this even happen with the ongoing SEC case? No, it can't. So like, you just got to be watching out what people say online. Yes, Luna, look at that. You got so much love, Luna. Look at that. I love that. You guys are awesome. High Moon. See, look, I like that too. She with all the colors and stuff. That's why we named her Luna, because she had like different colors of the moon, you know. Crypto Sensei, hello, brother. Sir Lannister here from Greece. What about Axelar's growth? Well, I mean, I think you're seeing the connectivity with the EVM sidechain. That should only get bigger over time, right? Like as more value comes on chain. I mean, look at this thing. It's up to, I mean, 2.3%. It's had a huge bump though since let me see here. Let's go back 1 month here. So, you know, let's go home. Let's look at all. All right. So we launched here at 80 cents. We had a high here in early 2024 of $2.18, and now we're sitting at 36 cents here. I mean, would you think that XLR is further along where they were same time last year? I think they are. Oh shoot, I'm not sharing the right thing. I do apologize. Here, this is what I was looking at. I was looking at the chart here. 86 cents, kind of when they first started collecting data. High of $2.18 here. We're sitting now here at 36 cents. Over the last 7 days, we've had this little uptick here from about 30 cents to 36 cents. Yeah, man, I do think Ondo and Axlar are great choices for, you know, to hold for the future. Absolutely. I mean, there's so much happening with the EVM sidechain. 1,400 smart contracts in the first week, 105 million TVL already locked. I mean, it's just going to get bigger and bigger. I just made a video on this yesterday or the day before. I think it's already out. I've been hammering the content, guys. I've been really just diving in, and you've all helped me be a better researcher. Let me tell you that. I appreciate you. What did Curtis say? Curtis, Tommy. Yeah. You never want to tell people how much crypto you have. Scammers are always going to find a way to figure out who you are and where you are and how to get what's yours. So just be careful, all right? Can you explain more on tax for crypto companies that I don't have to report to the IRS? So Sebastian, listen, I'm not a tax expert and I will never pretend to be one. You want to talk to somebody that knows what they're doing. I'm bad with taxes. I have a tax expert that helps me with my company, and then I have a tax expert that helps me with my regular taxes, and both of them understand crypto. I think that's a vital piece, and so you need to figure out like what state, what country, you know, what are your tax implications, and talk to somebody that knows what they're talking about. All right, I wish I could get into the into all this, but I wouldn't pretend to even try, man. What's up, that guy? How you doing? And the best person in the world, Ariana. See, look, I like this. I like that guy. Thank you so much. You're so kind. Hey, Sensei, the news on BNY Mellon. Have there been whispers in Swift and Ripple since? So, you know, I just released a video on this, right? I don't know if you saw that, and maybe you have, and that's why you're here. So if you haven't seen this, I just put this video out this morning, and it's actually a pretty good one. So it's right here, 27,000 views in the last 5 hours. So if you're not familiar with what's going on, Ripple and BNY Mellon announced a new layer to their partnership, right? That layer being BNY Mellon is going to be the custodian for RLUSD reserves. And so if you're wondering what that means, so when you have a stable coin, it's backed up 1-to-1 with the US dollar. Okay. And you need to have reserves to back up all of that. So if you have $1 billion stable coin, you need to have $1 billion in reserve, or whatever they specify. Sometimes it's maybe like 90% or whatever it is, but you need to have the value backing that up. And usually that value is held in cash. It's held in treasury bonds or treasury bills. and it's held in other types of securities. And so those things backing up RLUSD are going to be custodianed at BNY Mellon. If you're not familiar with BNY Mellon, they hold about $53 trillion worth of their custodian. So BNY Mellon is the custodian for other banks. So other banks use BNY Mellon to safeguard their assets. And so I think it's like 1 out of every $4 of assets is at BNY Mellon. It's like a quarter of the world's money is at BNY Mellon. So that's a big deal. And if you actually dig into, like, here, I can take you this one further. I researched this recently. So let me just put this in real quick. Give me all the connections between Ripple and BNY Mellon. All right, let's pull this up here. Okay, so here is the information I just gave you. They're the primary custodian for Ripple stablecoin reserves. BNY Mellon also provides Ripple with transaction banking services, including handling conversions during minting and redemption of RLUSD. Ripple and BNY Mellon have been collaborating for some time now, boosting institutional adoption and trust. The collaboration is seen as a significant step in bridging the gap between traditional finance and the digital asset sector. BNY Mellon's investment is expected to increase institutional confidence in Ripple stablecoin. There's also the partnership. The partnership supports Ripple's efforts to align with the evolving U.S. regulations for stablecoins. There's been positive market reaction. We don't really need to get into that. Ripple's leadership emphasized that BNY Mellon's reputation, trust, regulation, and capital strength is made as an ideal partner for RLUSD custody, reflecting on a broader trend for traditional finance institutions. And then BNY Mellon highlighted its commitment to providing comprehensive solutions for institutional clients for the digital asset landscape and expressed pride in collaborating with Ripple. So Ripple has also been helping BNY Mellon with upgrading their infrastructure for tokenized assets. So, one does start to speculate, is BNY Mellon going to use the XRP ledger in some way for their value, their tokenized value? And that's a really interesting subject we could spend a lot of time discussing. And, let me know if you have any other questions about that. Jen, great to see you, Jen. Welcome back. What do you think about holding crypto in Revolt Bank? So, I don't know anything about, is it Revolut? I think it's Revolut Bank. I don't know anything about them. And I don't know what your protections are holding your crypto there. Do you have additional insurance coverage or any of that type of stuff on your crypto? I just don't know. I mean, that would be the only benefit that I would see. Obviously, when you hold crypto on like a private, like a ledger or a treasure, you have to, put that somewhere, right? Do you leave that in your house? Do you put that in a bank? Do you bury it in your backyard? I don't know. People have all kinds of different ideas on how to keep their crypto safe. What's your take on margin lending against your crypto? So Grant, all of this comes with extreme risk. When you do that, sometimes things can get a little out of control and people get liquidated for billions of dollars all the time in crypto space. So if you're going to step into that arena, understand the risks, understand where your liquidation points are, and be extremely careful. I don't do this type of thing. So there's probably other channels or financial advisors you could talk to about this. I would just be very careful. Do you think RLUSD could be a threat to XRP? Okay, it's a great question. So listen, there's going to be use cases for XRP and there's going to be use cases for stablecoin. Okay. And most banks will choose, what they're going to use in that current situation. Now, if the RLUSD is on the XRP ledger, remember the RLUSD is on Ethereum and it's on the XRP ledger. So it depends on if those transactions are happening on the XRP ledger. If they are, that is transaction volume. That is usage, being XRP being used as the gas token. So, I mean, the more value that comes in, the more liquidity, the more beneficial to the entire ecosystem. they have dual roles, like they are doing different things. Both are needed. Both are needed. Waiting to get rich on XRP, man. Story of my life. Absolutely. Story of my life. Tanker, thank you so much for the 199. I really appreciate it. You're the best. Let's see here. Today's pump had me in a good mood. Chips cup going. Pretty overbought. Yeah, so there's going to be a correction. There always is. Jen here. Do you think Jerome Powell will resign? I don't think he will, Jen. I think he's been pretty clear on this. I mean, you can put all the pressure on him that you want, but I mean, if the man couldn't handle pressure, he wouldn't be in that job. I think Jerome Powell has a duty to the United States and to himself, and he is going to fulfill that role. And any clip that I've seen of him talking about it, saying that he's going to stay out his term. So you're basically having a Trump appointed person, putting that out that he's going to resign. I mean, this is part of the PSYOP games. I think, everyone is, trying to get in other people's heads. And I don't think it's real. We did talk about that maybe 20 minutes ago in a little bit more detail, the benefits, what could happen if he's replaced. Like the new person coming in, it would be somebody that Trump would pick. And so it would be somebody that Trump would control. And so we looked at, the good and the bad around that. And if you want to rewind, you'll see that. Thoughts on Caleb and Brown? I don't have any thoughts. I don't use Caleb and Brown. I don't know anybody at Caleb and Brown. I mean, I've heard rumors that they have good technology, but I've never verified that. Let's see here. Crypto Sensei, what do you think of the end game for XRP? I think when XRP will be at crazy numbers, will make it tempting to sell so the sharks can buy after the AM pools start making money. I mean, there's always going to be a demand for a new asset class. Is that demand truly here yet? When you look around, is everybody involved? And I would say that only 5% of the world is actually involved. And even less of that is involved in XRP. There's only like 6 million XRP wallets. How many XRP wallets do you have? I mean, I have one, at different exchanges. I have like 5 on exchanges. I have 5 or 6 different ledgers or something like that, so I have 10 wallets by myself, so there's only maybe a few million people in the world that own XRP, so out of billions of people, there's only like 2 million people or 3 million people. So, is the demand here yet? I don't think it is. Michael Anderson saying Caleb Brown is the best. There you go. Of course, Jen. Thank you for being here. Great to see you again, Jen. Richard, what's up, brother? Powell has been consistently saying the same thing. Yeah, exactly. I don't think he's going anywhere, man. So like, I think the person saying it here, let me see if I can pull that document up. Where's that document here? Hold on. It's here somewhere. Here it is. This is it. So this is the document, right? So like this person who's been saying this, Richard Pulte, I think he's a Trump appointed person, isn't he? Hold on. Let me see if I can find his name here. Hold on. Where did I see his name? Oh yeah, wait. Statement from Chairman of the Board, Fannie Mae and Freddie, William J. Pulte. Okay, William J. Pulte. William J. Pulte. Let me get the name first. Okay, so I just need his name correctly. This is his name. Then we're going to go back into Perplexity. We're going to ask Perplexity, how did this person get appointed to his job? Okay, then we search this. Okay. He's the current director of the U.S. Federal Housing Agency, a role that he assumed in March 2025. He was appointed by President Trump. Okay, so you have to understand here, there's a level of mind games happening, right? You're having Trump wants Powell to resign, or he wants Powell to do what he wants. Powell has refused to do that. He said he's going to do what he feels is best for the economy, and he and the other 12 members of the board of reserve governors for the Federal Reserve are deciding on that fiscal policy. If you have somebody that is an appointee, like if Trump puts somebody in there that listens to what Trump says, that person might not be acting in the best interest of the United States. They might be acting in the best interest of Trump, and there becomes a dilemma there, right? Separation. And so I don't know how that's going to play out, guys, honestly. And, I think it's good to have a separation, and some people might disagree with that. But you're asking my opinion. I think having a separation is a good thing. Of course, Jen, anytime. Thank you for asking the question. Man, you guys really like to talk about Caleb and Brown, yo. I feel like maybe there's a Caleb and Brown plant in the chat, Do you think HBAR is an underdog? So I don't think HBAR is an underdog at all. I think HBAR serves a use case. I think, they have some incredible companies that are working with them or building on Hedera. We've always been talking positively about Hedera when we're talking about the tokenization of financial assets. Hedera is also a company that central banks look at for central bank digital currency technology. So, Hedera. Listen, if you're asking me what I bought in the last week alone, I bought an XRP, I bought an XLM, I bought an ADA, I bought an HBAR, and I bought some SHX recently, last few days. Yeah, here's a great question. I love this. Do you think Hawaii banks will be last to use crypto? Yes, you know it. Like, what was the thing? Like, they just got Zelle, right? First Hawaiian bank just got Zelle, and like you've had Zelle on the mainland for like 10 years, yeah, man, they're gonna be late to the party as usual. What does that look like? I don't know. I really don't know. I researched, when understanding all of this, right? So what you're looking at right now, okay? We're talking about banks upgrading their infrastructure. So let's set the stage here. You are a bank in the United States, okay? From under the Biden administration, if you touch the crypto industry, if you like custodied assets or, you're doing things in the crypto space, you got a letter from the SEC warning saying that you need to stop or we're coming after you, okay? So banks didn't really want to touch crypto for the last 4 years. Trump gets in. It's a complete 180. Trump wants this stuff. He wants crypto regulation. He wants these types of things. And he's told Republicans, go get it done. Okay. And so now you have a complete turnaround from the OCC, who controls the banks, right? Approves bank charters and all these things. The FDIC for insurance, Federal Reserve, CFTC, SEC, all of them are now saying it's okay for banks to touch crypto. What does a bank do? Oh, shit. Now we can use it. Okay, well, then we need to get going. All right. Now, if you're a bank and you haven't been working on this already, you're already years behind. When researching this topic of how long it takes a bank to upgrade their infrastructure, actually, let me see. I think I might still have the video. I have all of this laid out, I think, still. Let me see. Oh yeah, this is actually something you guys would want to see too. Hold on, let me put this up here real quick. I'm just looking for if I have the document that I was looking at to talk about how long it would take a bank to upgrade their infrastructure. It's like 3 to 5 years or 2 to 4 years is how long it would take. Hold on. No, I think I might have closed it. Anyways, it's a very long time that a bank would need to work on this. And what you got to understand is all of these banks are competing against each other now, right? For customers, for money, for adoption. And if you haven't started this already, you need something that can, quickly take you to being able to use this real-time settlement and these new rails. And the way to do that is to go to Ripple, right? Or Circle or another blockchain infrastructure company to get set up. Okay. Ripple can get a new customer up and running, connecting the old system to the new system in like 3 months. Depends how complicated the build is and what they need to do. But the quickest they've been able to get a customer up and running on their systems is 3 weeks, but normally it's like 3 months. 3 months compared to 2 to 4 years. So there are going to be banks that say, you know what, we're going to take the easy way and go to Ripple. Because if you're doing this yourself, like if you're not a JP Morgan Chase, a Citibank, a Santander or something massive, you haven't really been working on this, right? All of these other big banks and institutions have. They have been planning accordingly because they knew eventually this was going to happen. So you just have to look at those timetables, right? If you're going to compete in today's market right now, what are you going to do? You're going to adopt the technology, and you're going to work with Ripple and other institutions. I made a ton of content on this the last few days, guys. So if you spend some time watching my channel, you will see it. Let's see here. Crypto Sensei, I think Bitcoin maxis are talking shit about XRP. It always happens, man. Like, I won't say that some of the stuff hasn't bothered me, right? Because I can be a very emotional person. I won't try to say that I'm not. And sometimes, I see a comment and I want to engage, and I'm like, this is stupid. Like, what am I going to gain from this? And I think there's just a place where people that are only in Bitcoin are worried that maybe there's other assets that are going to have a greater impact on financial infrastructure of the world than Bitcoin will. And I think that's a real fear for a lot of people. And there's always going to be this mine is better than yours, technology wise. And I don't think that'll ever change. I think people in general like to butt heads. They like the confrontation, and social media has only made this worse for a lot of people. So it's going to happen. People are going to say stuff. What I can recommend that you do is keep your head down, stick to what you're doing, be better than them. Sometimes that's very difficult, and sometimes I don't even take that advice, but if you can work towards that, I think you'll be okay. Let's see here. Crypto Sensei, BlackRock are total apes, clients' money without knowing. I mean, any multi-trillion-dollar conglomerate is going to have some skeletons in the closet that you're not going to like, but we can't do anything about it. Let's just, if we spend all this time on all of this negativity and stuff like that, we're just never going to get anywhere ourselves. Adam, thank you so much for the super sticker, man. I really appreciate you. Thank you very, very much. Let's see here. New information, FedWire. No new information. It's happening on the 14th. Should go smoothly without any issues. Sensei, thinking on a much bigger picture of how Trump wants to position the U.S. a crypto capital of the world, what his invites is what this also invites is foreigners also banking in the United States. I mean, I think we've had that for a long time, right? If you look at, like the Middle East and Asia, they've always wanted to, have US dollars or be in the United States because this is still the safest financial markets in the entire world. It's the biggest financial markets in the entire world. And so there's always going to be a demand for that kind of safety and that level of clarity. So I don't think that's going to change. I know there's like de-dollarization and all this other stuff happening, but we could go on for, hours talking about all this stuff. Aloha Kame, thank you so much for the 10, my friend. Aloha Crypto Sensei, brother, what's up, dude? Keep up the great work. Appreciate you. A little something for you, Luna, and the snack fund. Oh man, thank you so much. What do you think of meme coins? Do they have a future? Example, Shiba Inu. So there's always going to be some future for some of these meme coins, but the overall, like if you can't get into that meme coin really early, do you want to hold a meme coin? Like, would you rather buy Shiba Inu today, or would you rather put that in XRP or HBAR or XLM? I just, meme coins are a very slippery slope. I've made a lot of money with meme coins, but I've also lost the most money with meme coins. Meme coins can be hot 1 second and then be nothing the next second, right? There's rugs and scams, and it's exhausting. But there's always going to be people looking to take that shortcut. Okay. But you just got to understand that 99.9% of all the meme coin projects you're seeing, they won't be here in a month or 6 months or a year from now. Very rarely are they Dogecoins or Shiba Inu, multi-billion-dollar market caps. So just be very careful with that, please. Oh, snap. Look at this. Jamie Lindsay with a $49 super sticker. I think that is one of the largest donations we've had on the channel. Jamie, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you. That is truly incredible. Like, Luna is going to be so full. I think we have like $80 in donations so far today. So thank you guys so much. Have you actually answered the question as to where you feel the safest to hold your crypto? Yeah, we've talked about this at length. Eventually, the safest place will probably be your own bank. And I know people are going to say, you know, you hold your own crypto, hold your own keys, but that also comes with stress, right? That also comes with, you know, is where I've put this device, is it safe, right? Is somebody going to steal it? Is somebody going to come rob me? I mean, all of these things got to be going through your head. You know, I don't really want to tell you exactly like what my setup is, but I can tell you that having like a ledger or a treasure or a wallet company that you trust, you know, self-custodying that crypto is probably the safest thing that you can do right now. You know, don't leave it all on exchanges, and pick a very safe place for it. And until like you get custody at Chase and custody at Bank of America, that's probably going to be the safest you can be right now. Jamie, thank you so much, man. This is a huge donation. I really appreciate you. It's not hate. It's not hate. I just don't agree with a lot of the stuff that he does. And I didn't agree with a lot of stuff Biden does, you know, and people ask my opinion. And, you know, I can either lie to you about what my opinion is, or I can be honest with you. I would think you would want me to be honest with you, but I'll leave that to you, man. I'll leave that to you. Sun is setting here in Western NC, North Carolina. Dogs walking themselves would probably not return home. Are you guys having flooding? I thought I saw on the news that there's some flooding in North Carolina. You doing okay? Just want to make sure. Still under, damn. If you bought Shiba Inu 9 zeros, you made some good money on that one. How can you have passive income? Hey, Scott, this is a great question. So Scott wanted to know, says, how can you earn passive income without using a stable coin? Without using a stable coin? So, I mean, like, there's going to be ways to do like treasuries, you know, buying treasury bonds, you know, with XRP or some other type of crypto asset that'll get you a 3 or 4% return. There's a bunch of different like staking services that will offer you, you know, 5% or 10%. You just need to really understand you're locking your crypto up with this company. Is it, you know, is this a safe company? I can tell you that in my early days of getting in the crypto space, you know, I was like, oh, I can stake on this website and I can stake on this website, right? Cool. And then, you know, you wake up and the website's gone. So, you know, just understand if you're staking crypto anywhere, you need to know how long it takes to unlock that crypto. What happens if the website's down or the company goes down? What happens to your crypto? Like, these are the things you should just be working to understand before you, you know, lose that. You can lose money really quickly if you're not careful. Yeah, supply shock, definitely, man. Like, I think people think there's like tens of billions of XRP floating around everywhere. There's really not. There's only like less than 3 billion on exchanges right now available for public consumption. The circulating supply is like 59 or 60 billion, but how much XRP is actually available for people to buy? It's not as much as people think. Yeah, that's true. There you go. Jake Claver's company, Digital Wealth Partners, a good place for custody. He does cost a lot, though. I mean, people that, you know, I think Jake works with a lot of high net worth individuals, and those people are willing to spend the money for safety. And I think that's probably what you're experiencing there. Eastern North Carolina just had a tropical storm with flooding. Yeah, man, it's kind of crazy to see like all this floods in Texas and New Mexico, and I just hope you guys are all safe, man. I really hope you guys are all safe, and just, you know, water is no joke. Water is no joke. So make sure you get to high ground quickly as you can. I have a friend who bought 28,000 XRP and think about buy 32,000 more. He'd be around 60K. 60K is, if you own 50,000 or more XRP, you're in like the top 1% of holders. So yeah, he'd be in the top 1%. Yeah, Flair's looking good too, man. Yeah, Norman, if I had the answer to this question, I would, you know, I would be like a mind reader or like a guru. You know, I could have like a crystal ball behind me, and I could just, you know, I could rub the seal's head and say, you know, next month. I probably, if I could read the future, I probably would get the lottery numbers and go win the lottery first, and then put that into the crypto market and, you know, make $1 gazillion. But aloha sensei, love the videos and the general positivity. Great knowledge sharing. Mahalo nualoe. Hey, thank you, Chris. Appreciate you, man. Put your key on a metal plate. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different technology, and some of it is kind of, you know, chiseling a solid plate, aluminum plate. You know, you just got to see what works for you. Hard to know if something's going to dip on a Sunday. Usually less people are trading on the weekends, but you have had weekends where all kinds of things were happening. So it's hard to know, man. Really hard to know. Let's get back to some news here. I feel like we can answer the same questions 100 times in a day, but let's get, I wanted to talk about a few other things here. I did want to show you this. I did show you this, right? This is Ripple's actually application for their bank charter. I thought that was kind of cool to see. I did like this post. Ondo and MasterCard, OUSG, multi-token network, Link and MasterCard, on-chain crypto payments, Ondo, JP Morgan, testnet for payments. Let me just make sure I'm sharing the right thing. Yes, I am. Ondo plus JP Morgan, testnet for payments, Link and JP Morgan, cross-chain infrastructure, Ondo and Securitize, Buildle tokenization partner, Link Securitize, Buildle data, and Chainlink. Chainlink is a vital piece of the crypto space, guys. A lot of big connections there. And of course, you know, people like HBAR for these reasons. Institutional backing. The Reserve Bank of Australia just named Hedera as one of the selected DLTs for Project Acacia. Project Acacia is a major CBDC and tokenized asset pilot supported by RBA, ASIC, APRA, and the Treasury. There's also undervalued market cap. I think people are underestimating the demand for the HBAR token. You also have real world testing begins. The pilot includes 24 use cases with 19 real money and 5 proof of concepts. Hedera will be used to test real settlement of tokenized assets, stablecoins, and wholesale CBDCs. Testing will run 6 months, and you should get some of the results in early 2026. Growth potential is massive on Hedera, as well as the Hedera advantage with enterprise-grade speed, low fees, carbon-negative technology. Hedera is uniquely positioned. Its governing council already includes Google, IBM, Boeing, DBS, and 40 other gigantic companies. I was just trying to kind of pull up some information on HBAR. Let me just play this. Let me see.
As artificial intelligence continues to cement itself as a core part of the emerging digital economy, the lack of transparency in how AI models are trained, developed, and deployed presents significant risks, not only to enterprises, but to society as a whole. In order to address this critical challenge, Equity Lab, in collaboration with industry titans NVIDIA and Intel, has developed Verifiable Compute, the first hardware-based solution to govern and audit AI workflows using the blockchain. Verifiable Compute introduces a cryptographic AI notary system that creates tamper-proof records of every data object and code computed during AI processes. This hardware-based approach ensures explainability, accountability, and security at runtime. The foundational trust layer of this solution is Hedera, creating a trusted, immutable ledger of AI computations. Every operation performed on compatible Intel CPUs and NVIDIA GPUs is recorded with precise timestamping, enabling auditable trails and smart contract orchestration across AI protocols. As AI integration deepens across finance, healthcare, media, and public sectors, this solution will establish new standards for transparent, verifiable AI systems, bringing unprecedented trust to our increasingly AI-driven world.
Man, a lot of really cool things being built on Hedera. And then also, where are we going to move on this next leg up? I definitely see Hedera, breaking $1 here over the next few months. This, this even has maybe $3.80, $5. We'll have to see how high this can go. Yeah, this is what I was trying to tell you guys earlier with the smart contracts on the XRP ledger, the EVM sidechain. This is the demand that people are not realizing that is there. People are not understanding. This is new developers coming from Ethereum, coming from Solana, coming from all different walks of blockchain to the XRP ledger to build. The reason is it's because of you. It's because of the XRP army. It's because of the demand for technology, infrastructure, DeFi, tokenization of financial assets, and so much more, right? You're going to have DEXs, you're going to have NFT platforms, you're going to have, different infrastructure layers, all kinds of really incredible things are being built right now on the XRP ledger. What you got to understand is when you have this demand, okay, and you're needing more and more XRP to facilitate all of these new projects, that means there's less XRP on the open market, there's less XRP circulating, and that means there's a higher demand and a higher price for XRP. This is incredible. We want to see 1,000 builders. We want to see 5,000, 10,000 developers, right? If we can really get multi-billions in liquidity into the XRP ecosystem, it's going to bring in new people. It's going to bring in new institutions. It's going to bring in new use cases. And these are all of the things that we have been missing for so long. The reason is when the SEC sued Ripple, there was a lot of developers that didn't think the XRP ledger was going to make it through that court case. And I think developers and people looking at the situation now understand a few things, right? They understand that the XRP ledger isn't going anywhere. They also understand that Ripple will stand up for the XRP holders and the XRP ledger and will fight a 4.5-year legal battle, spend hundreds of millions of dollars to do that. And I mean, if I am investing my own money into a crypto ecosystem, I mean, that is something that I am looking for as nothing is a guarantee in life, but it makes me feel better that there's somebody else out there fighting this battle that I don't have the money to fight, right? $200 million fighting the SEC. Not a lot of people have that much money to do that. And it was pretty incredible to watch. I did want to show you this, though. I did a video about this. I thought this was a great clip talking about the EVM sidechain. Let me go ahead and play this for you. There's a lot of cool information in here that I just find unique, and I want to share it with you. Crypto Eerie did the curation clips on this, so big shout out to her.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Luke Judges, Partner Director at Ripple, and more specifically, RippleX. This is a rocket ship taking off to the moon, right? We're in the best industry, changing traditional finance now. This is one of the biggest opportunities in the market, and it's the best place to work. Crypto is here to stay. The XRP, as I said, was built for financial use cases on day one, and it has been for over a decade. It's robust. It has protocol-level financial primitives built into the chain from day one, such as the DEX, the AMM. There's an upcoming lending protocol, all built directly into the chain and accessible via a set of simple APIs. But there's problems. No one can deny that the XRPL is not particularly programmatic. And even David Schwartz, our CTO, said he didn't believe that Vitalik would get Turing complete smart contracts working as efficiently as he did. And it was impressive even back then, but we're understanding that we're facing somebody's challenge. When these assets want to come on chain, they need flexibility, they need liquidity, and it needs to be interoperable across these chains. So how are we solving for that in the XRP Ledger ecosystem? We're doing this on a two-pronged approach. We have the XRP Ledger mainnet, which we know and love. That's obviously our core bread and butter. and it runs on XRPL consensus. It uses XRP as a native gas token, and we maintain the Ripple D client. The second one, which I think is probably more exciting for the audience here, is the XRP Ledger EVM sidechain. It uses the XRP gas token, the XRP asset as a native gas token, which brings XRP as a 130 billion market cap token. It's blue chip. It's highly available across crypto, and it brings that with the flexibility of the Ethereum OS. And we chose to use a Cosmos stack because we believed it unlocks a high degree of programmability and flexibility. With Axelar, that's unlocking interoperability across 80 plus chains, which I think is really important because the XRP ledger has basically been an
80 plus chains, guys. 80 chains.
Island and unknown to the rest of crypto for over 13 years. And we've also got other interoperability partners coming soon. So Wormhole will be next. There may even be more. And I think this is sending a message to the market that XRP and the XRPL has for long been an island away from the rest of crypto.
Yep.
I think we want to come and be a part of and be on the table with you guys and really build for the future of financial institutions. And we're positioned very well in the market for that. As I say, I think this is going to be a really powerful.
All right. I did see a few questions I wanted to address really quickly. I saw, let me see here. Pax Coin. Hey, Sensei, do you think the price dips for XRP after the mass sell-off that usually happens after the full swing bull to bear market 4-year cycle? So this is a great question. If you ask me, that cycles are always going to exist, but I've been looking at some comments from like Mikkel and a few other people that think that the 4-year cycle is now gone, and that once we start going up, we're never going to come back down. And I feel like eventually, if we're going to go from 3 or 4 trillion to $100 trillion worth of assets in the next 5 to 10 years, like, does that all happen at once? Is that going to be a slow engagement up, right? Like, how is that going? How are we going to get from 3 trillion to 100 trillion over that time period? And it's really difficult to say, man. Like, I think half the people believe that cycles are always going to happen. Like, if you look at the stock market over the last 100 years, there has been like 27 bear markets and there's been like 28 bull markets over the last 100 years. So there's always these bear and bull cycles, regardless of how much money is in there. You're always going to get these cycles where people kind of are not as interested in that asset. Maybe something happens where the economy, goes down or something happens like that. I still think that you're going to see these types of cycles. They might not be as, as deep as they were before, where we're going to like rock bottom prices for 2 years. But, is regulation, is that going to affect this? There's just so many things that could affect this 4-year cycle. I still think we're going to get some cycles, but there's a lot of people that don't. So it's a difficult question to answer. I didn't think the last bull market was going to stop, right? When you're in it and you just don't know, like I was new to the crypto space during that time, and I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know what I needed to learn. And that was a hard lesson. I left a lot of money on the table, and I'll be looking closely at some of that, at the top of this thing towards the end of the year. Things are different now. I thought you knew it. Yeah. I mean, hard to say, man. Jacob, if you speak to Jay Claver, yeah, Jake, I'll probably have some solutions for you. Yeah, the multiplier effect. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So the multiplier effect is not too complicated, because there's not a lot of liquidity in a lot of these tokens. That for every, I'll give you the example. JP Morgan analyst, before the spot Bitcoin ETF was approved, they said that for every $1 that came into the spot ETF, that it would affect the market cap of Bitcoin $25. Okay. So the market cap multiplier is just that. For every $1, it would change the market cap X. And I've spent a lot of time looking at inflows for the XRP ledger. and the amount of money coming in on the inflows and how much that affects the market cap. I've seen market cap multipliers like 200 to 400 to 600 on the XRP ledger. Now, if you want to research this, there's ways you can do that. If you go to Perplexity and you bring this up here, say, I want to better understand market cap multipliers on the XRP ledger. Inflows, how much in inflows to market cap change? What type of multiplier have we seen already? So you can actually just like research this pretty quickly. Hold on. Multiplier. There we go. And then search that, and that should give us some quick answers here. It's a good question, Michael. Thanks for asking it. So here you go, man. Market cap multiplier refers to a phenomenon where a relatively small amount of capital inflow into a cryptocurrency like XRP can result into a disproportionately large increase in total market capitalization. This happens because when new money pushes the price up, that new price is applied to the entire circulating supply, not just the coins that were traded. So here is kind of how you would figure this out. Market cap equals current price times total circulating supply. It says when inflows, new money enters, XRP can experience these. And so here are some observations. So on April 12th, 2025. This is a real life example. So this is not like it making up stuff. Okay. So just want you to know that there was a net inflow of $12 million, $12.8 million. The market cap increased by 7.7 billion, which was a 601 multiplier for every $1. Is this starting to make more sense, Michael? Like, is this helping you better understand this? I hope. Here's a June 7th example. Net inflows 17 million. That increased the market cap by 11 billion. That was a 647x multiplier. Early 2025, net inflows 80 million, 17 billion in change, 212x multiplier. So as you can see, the 3 or 4 examples it gave you, 600 multiplier, 647 multiplier, and a 200x multiplier. I've seen that 212 number a lot in my own research, and I don't know how many times I've searched inflows and changes, but yeah, the difference is a lot. So, eventually it will even out. Like for $1 coming in, it'll change the dollar of market cap. But for a while, you're going to get some of these kind of ridiculous multipliers. So let's take, for instance, a spot XRP ETF, like it gets approved in the United States. And I know there's some approved already in Canada, our neighbors up in Canada. But let's say, 5 billion or 10, let's say 10 billion, it's a round number, 10 billion comes in spot ETF funds. If we're using a 200x multiplier on 10 billion, right? That's trillions in market cap, right? So what is that, 2 trillion in market cap? So, I mean, things can get out of hand pretty quickly if you're kind of looking at this type of multiplier. So I think people are not expecting that. And I think when people really start to see it, it's going to be pretty crazy. What's up, Tom? Oh, did you ask a question that I didn't see? Sorry, guys. There's like so many people typing that it's hard to get every single person's question. You can always send like a super chat if you really want to get my attention. It comes up on the screen, a little bit harder for me. But I'm trying to answer as much as I can, as quickly as I can. Since I hope to roll, but I appreciate all your hard work. Hey, thank you, Free Speech. Keep up your positive way that you see it in the world. God bless you and your family, brother. Thank you so much, man. I hope you have a great freaking weekend. Thank you for being here. Lizard, what's up, dude? I just got off the phone with my Fidelity advisor. He's going big on XRP and XLM. I showed him returns versus the conventional market. He was floored. Yeah, I think people are underestimating the demand that's going to come from institutional advisors like that. Before it was like, let's put 1% into Bitcoin or crypto market. Then it's 5%. Now it's going to be like 10% or even higher, right? So it's going to be really cool. What's up, Paul? Paul, I haven't seen you in a long time, man. How you been? Consider holding XLM for upside. Yeah, XLM for sure, Paul. Great to see you, man. Hey, Sensei, I got a question. Say I'm holding on 5,000 XRP for 8 years. Can I give you a price prediction? I mean, all it would be is just a wild guess. You're talking by 2030, where you're supposed to have anywhere from like 20 to $100 trillion on chain. If the XRP ledger sees, 5 or 10% of that adoption, you could be looking at a 3-digit, 4-digit XRP. We just don't know. It's just a guess, man. Like, you couldn't be like, Sensei called $247 on June 12th, 2028. Like, I'd just be guessing. I don't really like guessing. I like to methodically go through it and try to better understand it. Oh man, I just had hip surgery a few months ago, man. It takes a while. Like I had a bunch of bone spur surgery where they just cut the bone out. That was easier to get back from than having it on a joint. So like, be prepared for some extra time. That physical therapy is super important, man. Open the back window, Sensei. Hold on. I hit the button. It's coming. Oh, we got $4.99 here from Jim Goose. Have you had any negative experiences swapping crypto through third-party providers? I've heard horror stories about frozen transactions on Ledger Live. Jim, I haven't heard any of those horror stories, but I can tell you that when you go to like a third party, there's a lot of light in here though. Hold on. Let me lower this a bit. Well, let me just, hold on one second. Let me turn off one of these lights here. I feel like way too much light in here now. There we go. We're just going to go with it. I know that like there's sometimes on like Pancake Swap where like it's sneaky as fuck. And I've seen this on Uniswap too, where like you think you're swapping into a stable coin and there's like no value in the stable coin. So like anytime you're swapping on like a third party DEX, make sure that you are using contract addresses. So like if you're swapping into a stable coin, don't just assume that like on the platform it'll say like USDT or USDC, like it'll be like pre there. Sometimes those can be shady. So you just want to make sure that you're plugging in the true contract address for what you're swapping each time. And I feel like when I open this in the back, I have too much light in the room now. Oh well. But thank you for the $4.99. I hope that answers your question. Not a question, but thanks for all your hard work, JTB. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you. Hold on, let me see if I can turn this off. I haven't had these lights off for so long. Okay, that's a little bit better. This is how I used to stream with the thing. Obviously, the light isn't ideal, but we'll leave it open. It's good to see the ocean. Oh, you can't see. There's a bunch of little sailboats right there. Those are little sailboats. There's maybe like, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's 15 sailboats out there just kind of like running around on a Friday. Do you think? No, I do not think July 14th is going to be a pump event for XRP. I think it could be a sell the news event. I think people are overestimating. Like, I think people are overhyping July 14th. I mean, when you look at the numbers globally, right, for ISO transactions, you can't look at the data. Like, I've tried to research how many ISO transactions are happening per day, and then how many of those transactions are using crypto. Like, that's the key piece of information I want to know. And you just can't find that. They don't track that piece of information about how many are using crypto, not yet at least. But there's already millions of transactions happening per day right now globally outside of the US that doesn't involve crypto. That's not saying that these transactions won't involve crypto in the future, but you're still missing a few things like regulation, right? Like, you think banks are going to just jump in, or the federal government's just going to jump in and start using crypto before regulation is passed? I just realistically don't see that happening. Now, I could be wrong, and I would love to be wrong, but that is my justification for my answer. That, regulation, and then banks are just now getting comfortable with using, crypto and instant payments. I just try not to get married to a date, but we'll see. We'll see. I've made my opinion on July 14th well known, and we'll see if I'm right. You know, I don't know if I want to be right. I'd rather have the token just go crazy. I'd rather that happen, and I can say, hey, you know, I was wrong. I would love that. I just don't know if that's going to be it. April says, thanks for being such a genuine person. Enjoy the live streams, and thanks for all the information, your research, and fact check. Mahalo. April, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. I saw your comment on the earlier video. I wrote back to you. I'm trying to write, like, if people leave comments in the first like hour or two of watching a video, I try to answer as many comments as I can back. So great to see you, April. Thank you so much. Thank you for the good vibes. Love the ocean. Yes, I know. Me too. Make me want to go outside. It is beautiful, man. Just right out there. Blue sky. The glass is reflective glass, so you can't really like see in, but it reflects a lot of light. And so it's really pretty out there. Ooh, see, look, here's Stewart said he got scammed last week. Hello. So he's saying the person in the chat, I got scammed last week, bought Pangaleon, but onto AVAX and disappeared 150 squids. Yeah, that sounds terrible, man. I don't know what 150 squids is, but like that's 150 squids less that you have. You got to be very careful on these third-party browsers and things like that. Magic 8 Ball said 7. Yeah, it's Hawaii. It's Hawaii. Yes, Hawaii. I spent a lot of time here. Like, I moved to Hawaii when I was 19, and I lived in Hawaii till I was 30, and then I went back to California, and yeah, I just I had to have surgery in my early 30s, and that took a lot out of me. And then as soon as we could move back, we did. So we're back. Yeah, man. Bay Area. Bro, I really want to meet you in this lifetime. Let me buy you dinner and show you my appreciation. I live in the Netherlands. So, hey, my editor and my editor Cass and my the guy that runs the Discord, Lawrence, they live in the Netherlands. I was actually there in 2022. And man, if you ever make it to Hawaii, or if I ever make it to the Netherlands, deal. That's a deal. Oh, you know what? I want to point out a few things here too, guys. If you are a Cryptonaires member, if you are in the community, Kaylin is actually going to do a live chat here. It's coming up on Sunday, July 13th at 8:30 Hawaii time. So this is 8:30 my time. This is 11:30 PST, 2:30 Eastern. But he's going to share a lot of good information and a lot of things in that chat. So please spend some time, go in there and show him some support. I'd really appreciate it. I also wanted to say that the last few weeks, I have been working on a course about XRP. Right now, that course is about 14 videos long, and it goes into very fine detail about XRP. The first few videos are going to be free and made to the public, and then the other videos for the course will be for Cryptonaires members absolutely free. We also today, I finally got access to over 90 videos that myself and other influencers have made for crypto, and that you can have that absolutely free too if you're a Cryptonaires member. There is a new link in the chat. If you use that link, put in your email, you will get access to all of that. So if you're interested in becoming a member, wap.com/Cryptonaires. If you're interested in joining my crypto community, this is where I'm constantly posting updates. This is where I have a few friends that are influencers. They'll drop some alpha and some information. And we also have a great team and a great community of people that have been there for years. And it's just an honor to learn alongside of those people every day. So if you're interested in becoming a member, we'd love to have you. All right, man. Listen, let me turn this back. Hold on. Let me just put this back down. Let me put this back on here. Hold on. Hold on. Let me put this back on. All right. Listen, I want nothing more. I want nothing more than XRP to reach its full potential, right? I think it would be an incredible feeling, not just that we were right about this, but also how many people will their lives will be changed and different because of this, right? Like that is what I truly most care about. And I think it would be the coolest thing ever to be able to travel around the world and just meet people from all these different countries that come in the chat, that show their support, that watch every video, that comment. It would mean the world for me to just go around and meet all of you and do these types of events or dinners, or just have like a beer at a bar or something like that. I think that would be incredibly unique and cool, and I really look forward to doing that. And I'm excited. I'm very excited. Yeah, man. Everyone, there's a lot of people differently here. Like, some people like Ledger, some people like Treasure, some people like Decent. I think I probably should talk to Ledger or Treasure about like some kind of like deal I can get members or something like that. I'll have my team look into that, see if there's like some kind of discounts we can get working directly with these people to try to get people better prices for wallets. But if you buy a wallet, it doesn't matter what wallet, you obviously want to research, is this technology safe? Like, what are the ramifications if something happens? But make sure you really research the wallet, but also, make sure that you are writing everything down that you're supposed to. Keep that in a safe place. Remember to upgrade, right? When you have updates for the wallet, make sure that you are updating it, because there are some things that happen. This is why you update your computer and the software on your computer. And so, just make sure that you are buying the wallet from the manufacturer directly. So like if I was going to buy a Ledger, I would go to ledger.com and buy it. I wouldn't go to Amazon. Going to Amazon to buy a wallet, or like eBay, that is asking to get just ripped off and scammed. So just be very careful. All right. What island do you live on? My daughter is in college on the Big Island. So yeah, I live on Oahu, Crypto Poppy. I live on Oahu, which it's the island with all the people. Honolulu is where I live. But man, what school is your daughter going to? That's really cool. Do you get to come visit her? I bet you do, right? I bet you come at least like once a year, twice a year. How often do you visit? There's some pretty good deals right now. Like Alaska and Hawaiian. Did Alaska just buy Hawaiian? I know something just happened, and there's some pretty good deals. Yeah, see, look, I'll pick up Ariana, right? We'll pick up Curtis. We'll jump in the jet. We'll fly over, we'll have like meet and greets where, you can meet everybody. That'd be kind of cool, huh? Tangem links to Zamin, not best for long-term big amounts. Yeah, I mean, I like Zamin. I have Zamin on my phone when I'm like interacting with like DeFi protocols, or if I'm trying to buy like a meme coin on the XRP ledger. Don't do that too much these days, but I use a Zamin wallet with very little XRP in it, instead of using like I don't want to connect like my ledger to anything where like I could lose my crypto. Beverly Hills, man. That sounds nice, Joe. There's some palm trees in Beverly Hills. How much in dollar value is too much on a cold wallet? So you're talking about like stables, holding stables, Kate? I mean, it all depends on who you are and what you're trying to do, right? Sometimes people don't want to put money into the market. They'd rather just hold it in stables. I think that just kind of depends on who you are and what you're trying to achieve. A lot of people in California love to hear that, man. California is always going to be my home. You know what's really cool? I found this clip. I did not know this. Did you know how fast the TPS is on the EVM sidechain? This kind of blew my mind. Check this out. very, very, very fast clip.
One block finalization time and up to 16K TPS on transaction per second. At the execution layer,
16K TPS on the EVM sidechain. That's pretty quick, man. It looks like there's a lot of ADA shorts that might be liquidated above 74 cents. Let's see. Did ADA get to 74 cents? Let me see here. Close, 70 cents. Oh, but it did. Look, it liquidated all of that, though. You see this, 76 cents? See, this is why people got to worry, right? Because there's institutions that can poke through some of these liquidation prices, right? And then just liquidated everyone, and then it goes back down. So he's got to be very careful on all of this stuff. Man, I think Cardano is going to do some insane numbers, though. Man, I really think Cardano is going to do some insane numbers here in the next few months. I'm trying to buy more Cardano, to be frank with you guys. I like this one. XRP and ADA are the only assets that have all three boxes checked. And so here, check this out. This is made in USA in the red here. ETF applications in the green here. Blue here is blockchain projects that attended the White House function. And then here is mentioned by Trump here, XRP and ADA. But we got to remember that, Trump probably doesn't know anything about XRP or ADA. He relies on other people in his administration. They've been really focused on Bitcoin because a lot of them own Bitcoin. I think if we can get more value out of XRP and ADA, that would be really good. But like SUI, I've been talking about SUI until I'm blue in the face. If you're not focused on SUI right now, that is going to be the next Solana, in my personal opinion. ADA to set to outperform all 10 top alts in this bull run. Yeah, I think ADA is going to do some good numbers, man. I really do. Here's some of the stuff that's going on in the U.S. If you haven't been paying attention to what's going on. President Trump and Elon Musk, their feud escalates. Congress passes Trump's big beautiful bill. I don't know how you feel about the big beautiful bill, but this is going to add more money to the deficit, and this will give tax cuts to some people. Elon Musk did announce the establishment of the American Party. That's interesting. President Trump wants a record-breaking 300 basis cut rate, which is, I don't know if that's going to happen, but this would be like the first time in history. I think in one move. U.S. FHFA director claims Fairchild is considering resigning. I don't think that's accurate, but all good. U.S. stock market rallies to all new time highs, which is great news to hear. Remember, the pump in the stock market is really due to retail pumping the market and institutions, not really. So we're just waiting to see what institutions are going to do. Are they going to jump back in? Just looking at some data here on the bond market, the 10-year, 30-year, and the 2-year are all inching up a bit here. The 30-year is almost to 5%. The 10-year here is about almost to 4.5%. Usually, like your home loans, your credit cards, all these things will be off the 10 or the 30-year treasury notes. U.S. government posts a rare $27 billion budget surplus in June. That is due to the collection on the tariffs. It looks like the tariffs got pushed back from July 9th, which was that 90-day window that we originally had for tariffs. These got pushed back now to August 1st. I just want to do a fact check on how many deals have been done. How many trade deals are actually signed with the U.S. and other countries in 2025? I know that they had like 100 trade deal. They wanted to do 90 trade deals in 90 days. I think they've only gotten, here you go. As of July 2025, the United States has formally signed a limited number of trade deals. Looks like the United Kingdom deal finalized, signed by both parties on June 16th. The China deal agreement reaches reduced tariffs and de-escalate tensions. This is not really, this is more of a verbal deal. And it does look like maybe Vietnam has a deal reported as signed. So it was reported as signed. So out of 100 countries, there's basically 2.5 deals so far. I don't know how this is going to pan out over the next few months. Obviously, if the tariffs just went away, markets would go even crazier. But I don't know if that's going to happen. If these tariffs do get initiated on August 1st, that could have a negative impact on the stock market and the crypto market. So just pay attention to that coming up. We don't know how that's going to unfold. I did want to share some other stuff here. 371 US large companies went bankrupt in the first 6 months of 2025, the most in 15 years. So if you've come to Sensei Chat in the past, you know that I'm keeping track of this information because this is kind of like the health of the economy that people are not looking at, which is bankruptcies. When it's the most in 15 years, obviously something is going on to cause these companies to go bankrupt. What is that? And I mean, we could speculate on that. Obviously, we're just talking about tariffs that could play a role in this. Higher rates also is playing a role in this. This is up 335, which is the record last year, more than double the number during the same period in 2022. So the economy was already slowing down. Business were already failing, and then you add on this new kind of the new tariffs and things like that, and it's people just kind of give up. In June alone, 63 companies filed bankruptcy, and continuing a rapid monthly pace of 64 filings in May. Industrial and consumer discretionary have led with 58 and 49 bankruptcies respectively, followed by 27 in healthcare. Bankruptcies are running at crisis levels. So just keep that in mind when we're looking at the stock market hitting all-time highs. Like, is this inflated? You start to wonder. But Bitcoin is up 60% in 3 months. Like the US dollar is broken. The US dollar is falling in its worst start since 1973. Gold prices are rising, 3,400, right? If the dollar is doing badly, Bitcoin, gold, and other assets against the dollar are going to do well. Treasury yields are rising like deficit spending is worsening. Silver prices are rising like uncertainty never ended. Looks like Tukrium, the XRP ETF, the 2X, hits $120 million in trading volume this week, which is pretty cool. All right. I think I went through the final news I wanted to go through. Let me just answer some questions here. We did hit Joe L. Love this channel. Joe, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you. That is a huge thing, man. I mean, look at the donations today so far. We had $5. We had $6.99 Canadian, €5, $1.99. We had $1.99 from Jen. Adam gave €3. Aloha Kame gave $10. Jamie Lindsay gave $49.99. We also have Jim Goose. He gave $4.99. JTB gave $4.99. Crypto Poppy gave $5. Butterworth gave $4.99, and Joe gave $10. Man, just thank you guys so much. I think I missed this one, Butterworth. I do apologize. New to the channel. What are your thoughts on Chainlink? Thank you for your realistic content. Are you still here, Butterworth? Let me see. That was at 2:25. That was only 3 minutes ago. He's still here. Chainlink is a vital piece for the crypto market, for data to be shared across different blockchains. I don't really know what would happen if Chainlink didn't exist. I think it is a vital piece in how all of this stuff it works. I don't spend as much time researching Chainlink as I do, let's say, XRP or CBDCs and other things like this. But I do own a little Chainlink. I'm not like a whale or anything like that, and I do think it's very important. Hope that helps. Thank you for the donation. Really appreciate it. Man, you guys love the Tangent wallet, huh? Set it and forget it. What was the commercial, Paul? Set it and forget it. Now, set it and forget it. What was that? Was that Shake and Bake? Shake and Bake, not helped. No, that was something else in the 90s. Man, I'm just trying to remember. I can't remember. Shake it. Just set it and forget it. Hold on. Just set it and forget it. What is that from? Ron Popley, American investor marketing personality. Oh, this guy. Okay, I got you. This guy. It's the oven, right? Set it and forget it. Infomercial. Yeah. Okay, I got you, brother. I got you. Yeah, Jake answers a lot of questions on his live streams. That's probably the best. He does get a lot of questions though. You might have to like send him $5 or something to answer. Do you think, let me see here. Do you think we'll see a correction before the bull run? They have not even started with the money printer. Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's a lot of truth in what you're saying here. I mean, they have started printing money again. They have started to QE a bit. It's just we're not really like seeing the full on like what there was, a few years ago. I mean, if rates go down a bit, if QE gets turned on pretty hard, things are going to run really hard. But then they're also going to, they're going to hit an inflection point where things are going to come back down. I still think we've had such a good run where we haven't had any kind of like Terra Luna or FTX level events in the crypto space. I still think those are always a possibility, right? We don't know what where the next hack or the next felon will be in the crypto space. There's always a thought that something like that could affect the market, but the overall health and the push forward in the United States and other countries around the world with the crypto space, you can't really like turn this off right now. It's going full blast, 100 miles an hour. I mean, it's here, right? We should be good to the end of the year. I mean, we're probably going to be good into next year too. But if you looked at the market in the 2020 cycle, the market topped out in November of 2021. That was the height of the market. And then in December, it tried to get back to the similar heights. Like, I think I can find this with Bitcoin. Let me see. Share this. Let me see if I can find this for you. I think it wasn't it November? Let me see. Yeah, here you go. November 16th, right there. November 9th was the height of the 2021 cycle. So you're right here. You got 413. So remember, January, February, March, April, like January through April usually are historically good months. And then you get kind of towards like the summer and everybody just goes and does something else for a while. Right. And that's kind of what we just experienced, this dip. And now we're heading back up. So, are we going to see the market repeat that, that 2020 cycle? We might. We'll pull the data as we go week after week, and we'll take a look at it. And we'll see what we're going to do. When will you show us Luna? You want to see Luna again? Here, I showed her earlier. Come on, you're being requested. Come on. You okay? She was sleeping. Uh-oh. You okay? I'm tired, Dad. I'm tired. Well, hi. Not even going to read that comment. I love the audience. I mean, I wouldn't be able to wake up every day and make content without you guys. So I really care deeply about your questions and trying to answer as much as I can. I mean, do we need to get to 1%? 2% is like the average, right? I don't know. There's a lot of, there's a lot of things that could go wrong in the economy, and there's a lot of things that could go right in the economy. We just don't know which way this is going to head. Yeah. Hi. You okay? Who's that? Do you see you? Who's that? Hmm? Damn, this is intense. Are you looking at yourself? Hmm? Have I heard of any issues with Ledger products? I have not experienced any issues. I mean, I know that like they've had like information leaks where like customer emails and some other information was leaked, but I haven't had any issues. I can't speak for everybody else. Yeah, I don't think isn't she a senator? Isn't it already in the House's hands now? I don't think there's anything she can do, Sandra. I don't think there's anything that Elizabeth Warren can do anymore. She could go to the House, but I think there's a demand from a lot of people, even Democrats in the House that want to be on the right side of the crypto regulation. So Luna is a star. Yeah, Luna is awesome. Rice VP. Oh, hold on. All right, go lay down. We're almost done here, okay? Go lay down. I have to show you something. Okay. I have to show you something. Okay, so I don't usually do this. And I sometimes give you my show recommendations. All right. If you have not seen this show, you should go watch this weekend. I'm telling you, right here. K-pop Demon Hunters. Have any of you guys seen this show on Netflix? This movie? Oh my god, this movie was so good. Like it brought me to tears. Seriously, it was so good. Butterworth, I'm an XRP guy, lol. But if I had $1,000 to throw into XRP or ADA for the short term, which would you personally choose? Right now, short term, you might get more bang for your buck with ADA, unless some crazy shit happens with XRP and Ripple. But ADA should probably bring you a higher return right now, this moment, than buying like if you bought XRP, last year when it was like 30 cents or 40 cents. That was probably the best time. But ADA is probably a really good choice right now. Butterworth. Have you seen this? Paul, did you see this show? I don't know if I can play this without like YouTube like getting crazy. I don't want them to, what's it called? But oh my god, this was such a good movie. The music in this movie is like crazy. If you have time this weekend, go watch K-pop Demon Hunters, man. Seriously. I don't know, man. I've seen a lot of like negative stuff about Zebec. I don't know. Like, I don't know what to think, man. Like half the people are saying, it's the next thing in technology. And then other people are calling it a scam. I guess just like anything, right? You have people that believe in it and you have people that don't believe in it. I don't know. I don't like when people compare Zebec to Ripple. I don't think these companies are even close to each other. And what Ripple has actually done for the XRP ecosystem. I don't even think Zebec's even close. I really get kind of frustrated and kind of ticked off when people say like Zebec is on the same level as Ripple and things like that. I just not even close. Like here, like I'll tell you what I don't like about, like I'll tell you what I do like, and I'll tell you what I don't like here. Let's bring this up. Oh shit, that's the wrong one. Sorry. I mean, see, you had this gigantic sell-off because you had a lot of people saying that it was a scam, right? So, that's the tough part. But here, this is what I don't like. I'll show you. I mean, I'm glad. Like, I sold this at a profit, and I went into XLM before it pumped 50%. I mean, I'm chilling right now. But let me show you the website. What I don't like is this. When you go to the company, let's see, where's the team? see, this is what I don't like. Okay. This is their team, right? You don't have a last name. You don't have a like a LinkedIn, right? You just have these one, Elena, Keon. Like, who are these people? What is their background? Why do people try to compare these people to Ripple? And I don't know. I was researching this the other day, like the last chat, right? We were looking at some of these people's history and where they worked before and things like that. I don't know, man. Something tells me that sooner or later some weird information is going to come out about these people, but I don't know. For now, people are going to buy it, and some people are going to make money. I don't know, man. There's too much weird stuff going on with it for me. Sol is dead. I mean, Solana will still be there, regardless. You still have this, like, the meme coin capital of the world, Solana. So I don't know. Stellar shot up today. Yeah, Stellar did some pretty cool stuff today, man. See, you say, hold on, man. What connections? I don't know. I've never been able to find somebody from Ripple talking about Zebec. That's the thing I worry about. Like, Zebec can say that they're working with Ripple, but, like, are they? So Ripple Labs and Zebec have been in direct talks about a potential partnership since May of 2025. While no official press release has been issued. Like, that's what worries me. Like, if they have this partnership, why hasn't Ripple announced it? Right? That's where I get a little scared. I don't know. You would think, like, you would shout that from a rooftop if it was legitimate, right? So I don't know, man. There's a few other things that I just don't like, but yeah, Senator Warren is kind of bad news. I don't know, man. I think John Deaton would have been a great candidate for the Senate, but Jake, I asked Jake about Zebec. He doesn't own any. He just did a review on it. I asked him this a few days ago. He told me he doesn't own any. Yeah. He said he doesn't own any. I don't know. Like, I never watched his review of Zebec. Payroll growth partners in Zebec are related. Yeah, I mean, there could be a lot of cool connections, but I if you're asking me off the top of my head, I just know recently there's been a lot of FUD in the market, and there's so many other incredible technologies. Like, I just am not going to be, I'm not going to spend all my time researching something that could be iffy, But I hope it works out for everybody, man. Like, everyone that's holding it, I really, good luck. Quant doing massive things here in the UK. Yeah, Gilbert Verdian, really smart guy. Really smart guy, man. Yeah, I mean, and I think people need to realize that I'm not always right. Like, there's a lot of things that I've been wrong about, but, like, this is the thing. You're taking in data and you're trying to make the best decision with the data that you're taking in, right? And right now, Zebec had like this really great run, and like, if you were looking at to buy today, would you buy Zebec or would you buy ADA? Would you buy more XRP? Would you buy HBAR? Like, there's so many possibilities. Why am I going to put money into it right now with all of, with some of these questions that are unanswered? What it would take for me is it would take somebody from Ripple, somebody that I trust, right? Like Monica Long or somebody like that, coming out and saying, this is a legitimate company, right? Like, we are working with them. That is something that I would take to the bank, right? Like, I'd say that's trust. There's trust built right there. But, like, saying that you're working with Ripple and proving that you're working with Ripple is two different things, right? Like, where's that proof? And, like, if somebody sends me that and I could take a look at that, I would love to better understand that, And, like, listen, I have not put a lot of time and thought into Zebec. I know a lot of people have put a lot of energy and time into it, and there's probably things that I don't know, right? And so I am just going off the limited information that I've been able to look at and I've been able to pull, comparing it to, like, you know, the thousands of other crypto projects I've researched. ChatGPT thinks it's 100% legitimate. That I mean, you know, cool. That's awesome. You know, AI spit out wrong information all the time though, too, right? You can't just say like, hey, this AI says this is something that's good. You have to have adoption. You have to have real partnerships. You have to have legitimacy, right? Have they earned all that stuff? I don't know. Like, you know, you're going to be better at this than I am, right? You've obviously spent a lot of time understanding it, right? So, you know, maybe there's some stuff that you can tell us. Oh my God, tell me about it. I was so like it was going around my wife's office, right? About this movie. And so she came home, she's like, hey, I want to watch K-pop Demon Hunter. And I was like, okay, you know, like it's gonna be one of those nights, right? I was like, do I need like some THC or something for this like adventure? Anyways, long story short, we get into it, and like we watched half of it one night, and like I didn't want to turn it off. You know, it was like, it was catchy, the writing was good, the graphics are good, like I like, man. And at the end, like I still didn't know what was gonna happen at the end, and I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody, but like I literally started crying, and like I can be an emotional person. I'm not going to say I'm not. But like when a TV show or a movie can get that reaction out of me, I'm like, okay, you know, that was good. That was good. Like I'd rewatch that. I'd rewatch that. And it's awesome, man. Jason, I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you for spending the time. I really appreciate you, man. And thank you for the kind words. Yeah, a lot of people like Near, man. A lot of people like Near. I've heard a lot of great things about Near. Like that's something that I say like, hey, I know a lot of people in the industry that have spent time with the Near team and the ecosystem. And I know for sure, like they have good intentions. They're building real utility, you know? Yeah, I don't use ChatGPT. You know, I really like Perplexity. I really like the things I'm able to do with Perplexity. I think just pale in comparison, like I think that's just what I'm used to. You know, when you're like you brush your teeth and you're used to like the same toothpaste, and then you like use some other toothpaste, and you're like, oh, that's whack. You know, that doesn't taste good. You get used to like the flavor that you like, and it just so happens Perplexity is that flavor for me. And Coinbase is working with Perplexity now too. Are you able to look up whether the Zebec is at the House? So I looked into that. And anybody can set up something at the House of Lords. I researched this recently. Hold on, let me see if I can. Let's see. Library, Zebec, House of Lords. I researched this, dude. Look. Oh, let me see, Helen. Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on here. So okay, so so this is one of the searches I did. Do you have any official comments from Ripple about the company Zebec? There is no official public comments or statements from Ripple, the company, directly confirming a partnership or collaboration with Zebec as of July 2025. There's talks and speculation, right? Okay, so this is one of the searches I did. And then another one of the searches I did was this one here. Let me just bring this back up. The House of Lords. So you know, it's so funny that you say that, man. Curtis, it's so funny that you said that. Look, I did that exact thing, bro. I took the image. Here's the image. I can't pull it up, but it's the House of Lords image. It's right here. And I asked it, I was like, is this legitimate? And so the image promotes Zebec at Westminster event featuring Zebec network leaders and right. And so I wanted to say, like, you know, here, take a look. The names and titles of the speakers. So here are the people that were involved. The House of Lords does not allow external organizations. Oh, excuse me, does allow. The House of Lords does allow external organizations to host events, either sponsored by a member or since 2018 directly with approval. So they had to get approval to be there, but you can get access, right? Donations and things like that. You can get access to these things. These events can include talks and seminars and outside organization. There's buzz on social media, yada, yada, yada. This event appears to be real and is actively promoted by the Zebec network and leadership. So, they are actively out here doing things. People are asking about trust, and I'm saying trust is built over time. Trust is built over time. And I feel that like I could leave my wallet at the Ripple headquarters and it would still be there, like when I came back for it. But I feel like if I left my wallet at the Zebec headquarters, people be spending money on my credit cards before I even got out the elevator. I'm just kidding. I don't know, man. I pulled up everything I can for you. Everyone is chill here, but we have a really good group of people here that just like to vibe and talk with each other and share stories and help each other. It's really good. It's really good. I appreciate you, Butterworth. Thank you so much. And so it's a real honor to meet you. Kate's showing some love. Ariana love. Man, so good. Paul, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Look forward to live streams. Yeah, so we've been going almost 2.5 hours here. So I do want to be conscious about other people's time too, guys. I feel like we've gone through a lot of the news. I've answered as many questions as I can today. I just want to wish each and every one of you a fantastic weekend. Thank you so much for the trust that you put in me, and I hope that I'm helping you learn and grow in the space. And it's really a dream come true to be spending this time with you. Thank you, Ariana. Thank you, Curtis. Thank you, LEX, people keeping the chat safe. Thank you for everyone that showed up today for today's chat and everybody that's going to watch today's chat afterwards. We're going to be back on Tuesday. If you want to be kind of more in front, asking me questions every day, even when we're not having chats, you can join Cryptonaires. That is my community. I will post a link again for Cryptonaires in the bottom right. I look forward to releasing my course on XRP here over the next few days, few weeks here. Let me know what you guys think about that. I wanted to build other content around it too, but really excited to have that be released. I will see you guys. Have a fantastic weekend. Go watch K-pop Demon Hunter. I'm telling you. You know what? I'm gonna play it. I don't care if they freaking, what's it called? What is it? Hold on. What do I want? Is this it? No, this is like the video. Here, check this out. Let's go watch this movie. I'm telling you, I will not do you wrong on this one. Go watch that movie this weekend. All right. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.